I am doing it the way that I'm doing it. So, this year in 2022, I have decided to do my feature Fridays and bring those back, but do them a little bit different than I have in times past. And so I'm really excited about the way that I'm doing it and what I'm doing. And so if you've been a part at all today, you've seen me go live with several of my colleagues and friends, kind of sharing a lot of their story. And I want to also share my story. I was like, I should answer these questions since I'm asking all these questions. I feel like I should answer them. So, literally, that's what I'm doing is answering questions that I've asked of my team members and my colleagues today. And I just want to share those things with you and share a little bit about what I'm doing and what ultimately lighting me up. So I'm going to just do it just like I have been all day long. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Nicole Fletcher. I am born and raised in San Diego, California. I moved to Conway, Arkansas in 2007 with my family, and we were going to be here just for 2 years, and then we were going to get back in the military. My husband was in the Army, and so we were an Army family. I met my husband in college, and shortly, I mean, I wasn't like super interested right away, but then shortly after our meeting, it became very real that like this was my person. And so we've been married going on 25 years this December. And I'm 45 years old. We have 3 children. Our children are 23, 21, and 20. I birthed all of our children in the hospital and without medication because I was terrified of what an epidural could potentially do to me and or my baby, but mostly to me. I wasn't very knowledgeable about some of the things that I'm knowledgeable about now. I will say I was definitely afraid of an epidural potentially paralyzing me. And so I was motivated, convinced that whatever pain childbirth would bring, it certainly would not be worth potentially not being able to walk later. So that was my motivation for unmedicated childbirth. And that's what I did with all 3 of my children. My breastfeeding relationship with my son was sabotaged. At the very beginning, when I was in the hospital, I was told that that the nurses had to measure how much milk my son received. And so I couldn't just breastfeed because they told me that they wouldn't be able to measure it. And if they couldn't measure how much milk he was getting, then they would not let me go home. So I went with the notion of I'm going to work on breastfeeding myself. And then once I got home, so while in the hospital, I gave my son a bottle. And then that just began the cascade of crazy town. One thing that I definitely regret about that birth experience was uh, like not fighting and not understanding or not advocating for myself and for myself or my son that like I had milk, I had plenty of milk. And anyway, so that was one of the stories or one of the experiences that was, kind of shaping in a lot of ways. My son dealt with a lot of skin issues, allergies, went on to have Nutramigen, which at the time was a $20 can of formula. And now I believe it's like $40, $45. It's the most expensive brand out there. Anyway, so I was able to breastfeed both of my daughters. My second child, Najee, she breastfed for 9 months and then she weaned herself. And then my youngest, Nichelle, she breastfed for 13 months. And I was like, oh, we're done. Thanks. So we kind of wrapped that up. But all that to say, I am a mother, I'm a wife, I am a business owner. I am I would call myself a community activist. I'm out here in these streets, like really kind of educating and arming people with knowledge and seeking to help them understand their own power. And that's huge and that's big to me. Overcoming obstacles and really just focusing on mm, being the best they can be, being the best you can be. And that's both mind, body, soul, spirit, like all that together, and healing and restoring from the inside out. So that's me. That's a little bit about myself. I what I do for a living. I am a certified birth doula. That is what I do for income. So I'm a doula. I teach childbirth classes. I do placenta encapsulation. I am a nutrition coach. I help women and families like really dig in and experience like wellness and health from like a regenerative place, like the inside out, really addressing like gut health and the microbiome and like soil health and different things like that. And so a lot of this stuff is really new to me. The health coaching is something that I did, and I got certified by Dr. Sears Wellness Institute back in 2019. And I did not renew that certification, but I've continued the journey to build on the foundation of health and wellness over the years. And so really kind of digging in. So many of you know that I'm an apprentice midwife also. So really on the journey to becoming an apprentice midwife. And I shared in the last video with a colleague of mine, Sarita, when I asked the question, what do you do for a living? And she listed, you know, she's an apprentice midwife. I want to make sure you guys understand a little bit about this apprentice midwifery. As an apprentice, you're not compensated for your work, but we travel, and you know that costs money. That requires gas. That requires lots of things. Car maintenance, because again, we do travel up to 3 hours in really all directions to support moms in the community and really in the state. We have a big mission to um, transform and help end some of the suffering that Black mothers are experiencing in this state, where Black mothers are 3 to 4 times more likely to die in childbirth or in the months postpartum, and also the babies. And so that's a huge like undertaking, a huge challenge to kind of like meet. And there are several layers to that challenge. But we're here to seek to address that and just really kind of meet that head on and really do some transformative work. And that transformative work starts with like your everyday functioning. Like it's as simple as what you're doing every day to make a big transition, and as challenging as like this is an epidemic. It's a crisis that we're in. So really kind of focusing on that for my personal journey. But again, going back to the fact that as an apprentice midwife, the way this works is you're not compensated. So your licensed preceptor is the one that's being compensated for prenatals. She's being compensated for the labor and the delivery and the postpartum care, even though as a student, you're actually doing a lot of that work. And it's like school, any other school, any other program. You're basically paying to learn and to grow in this profession. So I'm saying all that to say this is part of the foundation of what I do for a living and what I'm passionate about, what I'm lit up about. But I want to lay the foundation of understanding that when we're doing certain things, some of them are income generating activities, and other things are just passion, mission, and purpose. Eventually will become income generating activities, but you have to make income while you're a student. And so there are different ways and different methods of going about that. So just wanted to lay that foundation, and I'll build on that in just a minute. So what's my life passion or mission right now? And the life mission that I've been on for a minute is really empowering women. Point blank, the end. Like empowering women to understand that they are capable, they are powerful, and there's more to you than meets the eye. Digging deeper and showing up in a way that for yourself is kind of my first heart pulse, if that makes sense. So I really want to help women, encourage women to know that in order to show up for the rest of the world, you have to show up for yourself. And we're not taught the importance, the value of showing up for ourselves. We're taught that it's important to show up for everyone else, that is loving, that is kind, that is being present, is showing up for someone else. And in so doing, we often forget to show up for ourselves. And I'm here in this space really saying we've got to learn to show up for ourselves. And as a byproduct of showing up for ourselves, we teach others how to show up for themselves. And then we're able to link arms with people and advocate, support, and empower them on their journey. So that's huge. And that's a big part of what I'm lit up about right now. Yeah. So I don't know, that's super exciting to me, is empowerment. Like the word empowerment. I try to use other words, because sometimes you can get caught up in these like cliche words like empowerment, and then it's not as impactful. But when I think about the power that we possess in just saying no sometimes, or just saying yes to yourself and no to all the things out there, that's empowerment. When you dig in, you study, you learn, you're educating yourself, you're getting resources, you're digging in and you're changing the game, that's empowerment. That is the power to change the narrative. And so that's what I'm about, is helping women, pregnant women, helping postpartum women, helping women in general figure out where their power is and to experience life to the fullest. I'm about living to maximum capacity. I know that sounds maybe strange or different for some, but I want to live to maximum capacity. And I don't want to die from something that could be prevented. So I have Nurturing Arrows doula coaching services where I am a doula. I do childbirth education. I like support and navigate and help people in lots of different ways. Sorry, my phone is ringing. In lots of different ways doing that. I've also become a brand partner with a marketing company, a social sharing company, to really address our health. So how my passions kind of combine and work together. I see, as an apprentice midwife, as a doula, I see a lot of suffering that is optional. I see women, men accept suffering, disease in their body as normal, as common, as okay. And I don't see a lot of fighting for, let me do the work to transform and change this whole narrative. Like, I don't have to be sick. Some of my colleagues use this phrase, and it says, genetics loads the gun and lifestyle pulls the trigger. So when we think about generational disease or sickness, right? Diabetes, for instance, high blood pressure, adrenal fatigue, eczema, fibroids. We hear all of these things and we think, well, my mama had it, my daddy had it, my uncle had it, my sister had it. And we just think that that's just the way it is. It's not just the way it is. That genetics loads the gun, but how you live your life pulls the trigger. So if you're going to have diabetes, what you do with your life is how you pull the trigger. So you may have been given a set of a genetic code, if you will, but you can always transform and regenerate and change your cellular function. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So there's that. So I just kind of want to tell you a little bit about why this is so important to me, like why it matters to me and why it should matter to you. It matters to me because I don't want to live a short life because of something that I could have prevented, different choices that I could have made, thinking that I'm having the best time or living my best life. And really, I'm actually suffering. I'm causing suffering upon myself, heaping sorrow and suffering on myself. I don't want to live that way. And that's why this matters to me and why it should also matter to you. We have accepted disease as normal, as common, as acceptable. And the truth is, it's not. We have the power, we have the resources, we have the skills and the knowledge to do something better, but often we choose not to. We choose the lesser. And so I'm really passionate about helping people understand you don't have to live this way. You do not have to suffer disease in your body because of genetics, nor do you have to suffer those things because of choices. You can make a better choice. So I'm on here to share with you just a little bit about my journey. So I've made different choices for my life, and those choices were not always easy. And I've made those choices for multiple reasons. One, I am, again, about to be a midwife. And so in that process, women birthing at home, and I've told this story all the time, when women birth at home, they birth in the smallest corner of their home. You know, they can have the grandiose, most lavish home, but when it comes down to really feeling comfortable to release their child, they find some small corner or some small awkward position to get in that as a provider, working with women at home, you need to meet them where they are. And so being able to fold over and get into small spaces has been very important to me on this journey. And being able to show up for Nicole so that Nicole can show up for others has been like my baseline foundation. And if I cannot and do not show up for myself, if my cup isn't full and like running over, I have nothing to give. So I'm really focused on my cup running over and doing the work that it takes to fill my cup. And so then when I give, I can give with a glad, happy heart from the saucer, right? I've talked about this before. So I want to give from the saucer. I don't want to give from my cup. And hopefully you understand why we don't give from our cup, why we won't dig in and give from our cup, but we give from our saucer, the overflow, because that's when we can give with joy. That's when we can give with delight. That's when we're happy to show up for someone else. And you actually have capacity to do that. But in order to do that, I have to nourish myself. So you guys know, from conversations, I have transitioned to a plant-based lifestyle. So really eating nutritious foods from the soil as raw as I can. I'm not 100% raw. I hope to eventually be 100% raw. I am not there yet, but that is part of my goal. And I did this and I was able to make this transition, one, because of the work that I'm doing. It demands um, it demands a congruent lifestyle, meaning if I'm sitting across the room and telling an expectant woman that she needs to eat more fruits, eat more vegetables, or drink more water, or whatever that looks like, I need to be able to do those things myself. I need to be committed to those things myself. And so that's where I am. That's what I'm doing, is committing myself to those things. And so I've joined a company that has a superfood protocol that really focuses on regenerative soil. The health of the soil also improves the health and the quality of the food that we're talking about. So when we go to the store and you're looking for the organic label came from the company that I'm partnered with, that I get my superfoods from. So I just want you guys to feel that and like feel the gravity of that. Like when you look at the labeling, organic, because there was a time where it wasn't organic. It would just say like natural, right? And so natural doesn't always mean natural. Like natural natural isn't always healthy or the best thing for you. So we're talking about organic, meaning no pesticides or chemicals sprayed into the soil so that the fruits and the vegetables can be the most amazing that they're able to be. And then your body is able to recognize those things as food, as nourishment, and it doesn't have to work to filter out the trash. So the reason why I'm on this journey is because I want to live and I want to actually experience health in a way that I haven't before. So let me tell you a story about how my beginning. Part of my beginning was um I again running up and down the road, just like hammering it all the time. So a client calls 3 a.m. I may have gone to sleep, may not have gone to sleep, may have been at a birth in another a city, and then have to drive another 3 hours or 2 hours or 1 hour to get to the client to attend their labor. And then maybe I have a list of clients that I need to see the following day once this client gives birth. So the career, the profession that I'm in is very demanding. And a lot of people don't understand the level of demand that it is until you experience it. So I could be with a woman for 10, 15, 20 hours even, and then get a call from another woman and need to go meet her there. And I had to find a way to show up for myself in that process. And so getting a part of this superfood company and getting on the superfood protocol was my baseline to start this journey to actually be healthy and show up for myself. So I started with this package. It's called the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation. It really does a few things. It helps nourish your body. It helps rebuild, it detoxifies, and it helps to rebuild so that you have a nice, good foundation that your body can read and register. In the process, as my colleagues have seen some of the results or some of the benefits that I've experienced, they've come along and joined in as partners. And they're also experiencing the health benefits for themselves, but they're also sharing that and have become partners with me in this. And so, to be clear, I am looking for people that are ready to like make a change for their own life and their health and their wellness, and also ready to even make some income on the side or even as a primary source to like supplement some of their income or take over their income. Maybe transitioning from a job that may be requiring you to do something that you don't want to do, but you feel like you don't have other options. And I'm here to share with you that there are options that are outside of going with the flow or the okey doke. So I heard, I think Dave Ramsey is the one who says, live today like no one else, to live tomorrow like no one else. So making choices right now today, making decisions today that are countercultural, if you will, different than what everybody else is doing, so that in the future you can live different from everyone else and you can live better and you're not suffering from disease and different things like that. Making the investment and saying, I'm really ready to make a difference. I'm ready to get my own health on track. And then I'm ready to share this with others and have like a community, an army, if you will, of people that are choosing not to be in disease, but are choosing to like thrive and live long as we were meant to be, as we were meant to be. There's so many things in our culture that are telling us like um that are designed to shorten our life, that are literally against life. All of our antibiotics, every time you turn around you get some antibiotics, and that's against life, literally is the definition of antibiotics. So we are not fueling our bodies and our lives with things that support life in general. So this is my partnership with a company that's like, hey, we're here to support life. And in every way possible, we want to help you revitalize, regenerate your cells, make a difference in your family's history and your genetic code. And then also you can earn a living doing so. So I'm going back to me saying, I'm an apprentice midwife. and there's not compensation for that. There needs to be compensation for the work that you're doing. You have to be paid some kind of way in order to do this. So I've partnered with the superfood company. I also have my own company as a doula, and I'm utilizing all of those things to help fund and fuel my ultimate mission, which is becoming a midwife and serving the greater community and helping to educate and change the way that we live so that we can live healthy and also experience a level of wealth that we haven't experienced in times past. So just a little bit on the business side of things. I've got a daughter in college. My husband and I, we have a daughter in college, and we don't require her to pay for her own fund, like her own schooling. She does work to pay for certain parts of it, but she doesn't pay for all of it, and we don't want her to have to pay for all of it. I again am supporting my apprenticeship through this work and through this company. I've been a part of this company since June of 2021. Lord, we just all over the place. Since June of 2021 as a brand partner. And I just recently got my W-2. And with I would say part-time effort, I was able to bring in $500 a month with part-time effort on this company. And that was able to help fund my daughter's schooling. It was also has helped me to fund my midwifery journey. Huge. When you think about an additional $500 a month, what could you do with that? How could you change your family's trajectory? And $500 a month is part-time work. I'm talking about, like, you could potentially get in and make $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month with this company and actually take over your income. So I want you to know that there's opportunities, and there's opportunities, and I want you to join me if you're ready to make a change for your own health, as well as for, like, the furtherance of your health and your finances. So living today like no one else, to live tomorrow like no one else. Again, and that's a Dave Ramsey quote. So are you passionate about health? Are you struggling with some sort of disease in your body that you are looking for solutions, and you're looking for, like, you've been grasping at straws and trying to figure this out? Or maybe you're in a profession and you're like, I really want to get out of this. This is not my heart pulse, but I'm stuck here because I have to make a living wage. Like, I have to make money in order to survive. But, like, what if you took a step in the unknown to actually experience something different? And I say it's unknown. It's not unknown. It's proven by other people, but it would be unknown to you. What if you took that step to bring in additional income, and you did the work to bring in additional income so that you could have time freedom, so that you could have location freedom, so that you weren't like locked into being at this place at this time for someone else's needs? What if you could take your family on a vacation? What if you could take your family on vacation and then work in that space? What if you could, like, just change the trajectory of your health? Like, what if you could do that? Would you say yes? Would you say yes to the opportunity to just change your life? Like, I don't know. It was hard for me to take that step to change my life. But I did. And when I say hard, I meant it took me 3 months to actually decide, yes, I am worth it. And I'm going to invest in myself to get a return on that investment. And that return on investment is health, is wellness, and it is wealth, and it is generational wealth. So I'm not just doing this for me for the temporary. I'm talking about, like, long-term building health, wealth, and establishing that in my family as a core foundation so that we can all experience a thriving life and the life that was given and offered to us in Christ, really. And so that's my like big heart pulse, and that is my mission. And I am like giving an opportunity to have you join me in that, to have you join me in that mission. So what that looks like is maybe you are like, what is your vision for your life? What is your vision for yourself? Meaning, maybe you want to lose some weight. Maybe you want to bring in additional income. Maybe you just want to get like healthier. You've already been on like a health journey and you need just some additional resources, some tools, somebody to lock arms with, a fresh like understanding, more education. Maybe you need some of those things. Maybe you're dealing with like physical health ailments that you're trying to resolve. Maybe you've got eczema. Maybe you're dealing with fibroids, or tumors or cancers or kidney disease, adrenal fatigue. Maybe you're just tired. You don't have what it takes to just show up in ways that you want to for your family. We talked earlier with a colleague of mine. She talked about low libido and like low sex drive, or not even being interested in like sex or intimate activities. And many of those things at the core have to deal with your gut health and your nutrition. And so there are ways that you can make a difference and make that transition. And so I want to share my passion with you and partner with you. I'm looking for people this month that are ready to say like, okay, I'm tired of the okey doke. And this sickness that I've been dealing with, I don't want to normalize the disease and the sickness in my body or that runs through my family. I want to do something different. And so in order to do something different, in order to get a different result, you have to do something different. So a lot of times you're like, oh, I've been banging my head up against the wall. I've been going to the gym and I'm crushing it there. And then, but like, I'm still exhausted, or I'm still fatigued, or I still have eczema. I'm still breaking out. I still have when I run my labs are still poor. I'm still dealing with anemia. I'm still dealing with all of these issues. And it's because we're addressing around the issue. We're not addressing the root and the core of that issue. So this superfood protocol can really help address the core and the foundation of the issue. And that's what I want to invite you to partner with me in. And I'm gonna keep it simple, keep it sweet. If you are interested in learning more and really wanting to like lock in, and you're like, Nicole, I'm ready. Like, I'm tired of doing this. I've got 50 plus pounds to lose. I've got, adrenal fatigue. I've got eczema. I've got all these things that I really want to address, but I haven't known where to go to address that. Like, I'm here. I'm here for you, and I'm here for me. And I'm here for me first. And I'm just going to tell you, like, flat out, I'm here for me first. And I'm doing this journey for me first. I'm doing this journey to help pay for my daughter through college. I'm here on this journey to help pay for my midwifery journey. I'm here on this journey to help like the health and wellness of myself, my family, and those that I have the opportunity to touch. And you are being touched by or connected or hearing this message, it is for you. It is for you. And so I just want to share that with you. And I won't belabor the subject, but live today like no one else so you can live tomorrow like no one else. And I believe that, again, is a Dave Ramsey quote. And I want you to know that you can make a living and own your schedule and own your life in a way that maybe you haven't believed you could before, but you can. You can. Connect with me. Let's make a difference. Have a good night.